Hi, everybody. I'm glad you're here with us today. I'm excited to listen in, and at the end, I'll be here to answer some questions. But just by way of opening, I want to remind everybody that the goal of Super Silk is not just to give people straight hair. It really is about controlling texture. And although we can get smooth to straight hair with it, it really is about saving people time, leaving the hair in a beautiful condition, making the hair more manageable, leaving some volume and lift if they want it. We're actually in my salon taking out sections of hair around the parietal ridge and around the top of the head and leaving that out and not doing the super silk on it, but doing it all around. That leaves areas of volume in the hair. We're finding some very creative ways to do super silk. So keep in mind that's what it's about. And most importantly, it's about non-toxic. It's about a safe environment where we can spend our long careers safe and happy working together. And that's part of what the Bricata brand has always tried to do. Also, and in closing, I just want to say that we have days now where we're doing 5 and 6 super silks in a day. And there right now is the moment. It is the moment. Anti-frizz, anti-humidity, this is the moment. So listen closely, have a piece of paper in front of you, write down some ideas you'll get from Gary on how to do some promotions and how to put this to work for you, and look for all the fabulous things that are inside this product, both the shampoos and the take-home treatment. It's such a miraculous uh, product line that we have here. So Gary, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I'll be here at the end to answer questions for you guys. Have a great webinar.
Super. Thank you, Sam. We're going to start out by going through the Supersilk procedure and making sure that everyone understands what Supersilk is and how Supersilk works. As I went back through the people that registered for the webinar and looked at the list, there were two options that we required. The first one, are you currently using Supersilk in your salon? And about 50% of the people that have joined us on the webinar are not using Supersilk. So we want to make sure that everybody's up to speed. Also, the review is great for anybody that's currently using Supersilk. And then I want to thank you, those of you who typed in your questions as part of your registration, because at the end of the program, I'm going to go through all of those questions and we'll answer every single one. And if you've got questions after that, I'm happy to stay on as long as necessary to make sure that those questions get answered. As Sam indicated, Supersilk is a revolution in texture control. It's about learning to manage texture using our nanosilk complex and going beyond what keratin formulas, and we might even add what thio formulas or Japanese relaxers, what other people have been doing to create a change in the texture of the hair. This is the future. This is today's answer for smooth, sleek hair, as well as people who want to change and have hair that's easier to work with, that want to save time while they're working with their hair. Everything that we do in a Supersilk service is built around this hair type consultation chart. As you look at the chart, and it'll come up on the screen 2 or 3 times during the presentation. As you look at the chart on the left-hand side, we've divided our guest into 3 different hair types, type 1, type 2, and type 3. And then we're going to talk about what their texture is like and the hair condition is like before they receive a Supersilk service. Then we'll talk about the processing and penetrating time of the solution. We'll talk about the VibraStraight iron technique, and then we'll talk about what that guest can expect after the service is completed. So to start with, let's look at the 3 different hair types before they receive a service. Type 1 is someone with fine to medium texture hair. Their hair is flyaway or frizzy. Many times their hair is blonde or lighter colored, maybe a level 7. Their hair may have been previously colored, it could be highlighted, or it could be bleached. Type 2 hair is of medium texture. It has a little bit of weight to it. Usually someone with type 2 hair grows their hair out a little bit longer to help control the texture and give them longer hair to work with. Their hair is wavy, it's frizzy, it might be somewhat resistant, and it can be previously colored or highlighted. Type 3 hair is curly or coarse. This is really curly hair. And usually somebody that's type 3 has a lot of hair. Their hair is thick, their hair is heavy, and this person, 90% of the time, if they're wanting to wear their hair straight, they've already been growing it and have grown it out. It's curly, coarse texture, it's very frizzy, extremely resistant, and it can be previously colored or previously highlighted. So those are the three types of hair that we're going to work with, and we're going to walk through the process and talk about how the hair is going to respond in each of those situations. So first, we'll do a before picture and look at our model to start with. Now this model is type 2, almost verging towards type 1. Notice how she doesn't have a ton of hair, but she's got some wave and some curl to her hair, and the ends of her hair are color treated. Step 1 in a super silk service is to shampoo the hair. We shampoo the hair with Bricato or Super Silk Detoxify shampoo. You may shampoo the hair twice in order to make sure that everything is thoroughly removed from the hair. We use Detoxify shampoo because it's sulfate and paraben free. What makes it unique is it completely deep cleanses and removes residue from the hair prior to Super Silk service, but it leaves the hair with wet combability. It doesn't leave the hair tangled. It doesn't leave the hair staticky. So you can comb the hair very easily after detoxify shampoo. It was created specifically to have a lower pH than a typical deep cleansing or clarifying shampoo so that it would allow for the maximum penetration of the super silk amino acid solution. So step 2, after we've completely shampooed the hair and detangled, is to towel dry the hair. Now my suggestion for towel dry is towel dry the hair as dry as you can get it with a towel. Don't blow it dry and don't overwork it, but you really want to blot the hair and get most of the moisture out. Comb the hair into 4 sections. And many times we call this a T-parting from ear to ear and nose to nape. This is just so that we can manage and we can work with and handle the hair. Pin it out of the way so that you're keeping your hair neat and clean. Step 5 is to apply the Super Silk solution. Now you'll notice that the Super Silk solution is being sprayed onto the hair. We're going to talk later about the amount of solution that is used, but at this point in time, the hair is damp because that helps the Super Silk solution penetrate into the hair. As you do multiple services, you'll learn to feel the hair and feel the hair when it starts to constrict and collapse. It's not relaxing, it's just being treated with the low pH solution that causes the hair to constrict just a little bit, and you'll be able to feel and see what happens during that period. Super Silk amino acid professional solution is 100% formaldehyde free. We're going to talk about that again in the question and answers. And when I respond to you after the webinar, I will send you a copy of the lab reports that indicate that the product is formaldehyde free. Sam has created a product in Super Silk that can be used on any hair type in any condition. We can use it in all situations. It will completely tame the frizz up to 100%. It smooths the curl up to 90%, reduces out of control volume, repairs damage in the hair because of its silk amino acid, the silk protein solution. And you'll find that the industry first spray on application adds a lot of speed to your service. It makes it very, very economical from a time standpoint to do your application. The manageability of the guest's hair is improved, and their drying time will be reduced up to 60%. They'll save that much time in the morning. In fact, there's a humorous post on our Bricato Super Silk page about a woman who saved so much time that she had extra time to fool around with her husband as a result of her Super Silk service. Once you've saturated the hair with Super Silk solution, we cover the hair with a plastic cap. In our instructions, this is called a processing step, and we'll look at the chart in just a second. But please remember, we're not really processing because Super Silk is not a chemical. It's not becoming anything. We're just taking time to allow the solution to penetrate completely and thoroughly into the hair. So if your guest is a type 1, it will process for 20 to 25 minutes. Type 2 will process for 30 to 35 minutes. Type 3 will process for 40 to 45 minutes. Again, it's not becoming anything, so it's impossible to over-process the hair, but we want to make sure that it has enough time, especially on the coarse curly hair, for the product to penetrate deep into the hair fiber. Usually when someone is doing their first model of Super Silk, we'll recommend that they select a type 2 model, and we'll recommend that they have them penetrate for 45 minutes to make sure that they get the very best result from the solution at the end. So they want to really penetrate into the hair. So we're going to let it process at room temperature. Sometimes some people have asked us if they put it under a dryer, does it help? We've found out that heat does not accelerate the process. It's just better to leave it right at room temperature for the appointed time. Once the processing time is complete, do not rinse. Do not rinse. We're leaving the solution in the hair, and then we're going to dry the hair with the solution in it. Step 7 is to blow dry the hair with your fingers only. Blow dry the hair in a downward motion along the natural fall. You can use your fingers as a rake to help detangle and separate the hair and help keep it smooth. The goal is to make the hair as easy as possible for you to flat iron in the next step. The goal here is to remove the moisture from the hair. You can place them under a bubble dryer and let them dry under a hood dryer in the salon if that's easier for you. Go ahead and blow them dry with a downward direction of the airflow and also with a downward motion of your fingers. One thing about the blow dry is that notice we are using fingers only. Don't use a brush or any other kind of tool. We found that the brush actually removes the Supersilk solution from the hair during the drying process. And we're not trying to smooth the bristles of the brush. I want to leave the solution in the hair. Once we've completed the blow dry, we preheat the vibrostraight oscillating iron to the proper temperature. On type 1 hair, we use 370 degrees as the target. You could go lower even to 350. On type 2 hair, we use 390 degrees Fahrenheit, and type 3 hair, we use 410 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll also notice when it comes to flat ironing that depending on the texture of the hair, we are looking for 5 even passes on type 1, 7 even passes on type 2, and 10 even passes on type 3. An even pass is considered a slow, consistent stroke down the hair. You will learn to see that the hair has changed and that the flat ironing has accomplished its goal as the hair smooths out and the hair takes on its new form. So in 1/8 inch sections, we flat iron the entire head. At this point in time, you're not flat ironing a style into the hair. You're flat ironing the hair for a purpose of curing and heat treating the fiber to absorb and to hold on to the Supersilk product or the Supersilk solution. So we're curing it into the hair. Step 10, when you've completed the flat iron, you can apply actives and flip the ends under with a flat iron and send the client home at this point. This is the option 1 that's talked about in our instruction brochure. So option 1 is to go through each of the steps, and at the end of the flat ironing step, flat iron a little bit of shape into the style where you want to create volume or where you want to create a bend, and then apply actives infusion to add shine and gloss and give them a final shiny finish. So option 1, as we said, is the first and is the faster option. Finish steps 1 through 10, then apply Bricato actives infusion. In some cases, the results may last longer because the Supersilk amino acid solution was not rinsed from the hair. But there are situations where rinsing in the salon is preferred. For option 2, you follow steps 1 through 10 right through the flat iron, and then wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Now this is depending upon the hair type. Primarily what we're doing is waiting for the hair to completely cool. I usually wait for 5 minutes, then feel the hair and make sure that it is cold to the touch. Wait a little longer if that's necessary. After the waiting time, take the guest back to the shampoo bowl. Rinse their hair thoroughly, just with warm water. We're not going to shampoo, we only rinse. Rinse it for 2 minutes or longer. The hair will be very sleek and will be very, very smooth. And you're rinsing, what you're rinsing is any excess product that's on the surface of the hair, any excess solution coming off the surface of the hair. Towel blot the hair and apply a pea size or up to a dime size of Bricato Supersilk Pure Indulgence leave-in treatment. Work your hands through the hair and massage the treatment through the hair. At that point, you can allow the hair to dry naturally, or you can blow dry it and style it. One of the things that we find at this step is you can blow dry and style their hair like this guest has probably never styled their hair before. it will be in your hands like styling someone whose hair is perfectly straight and perfectly smooth. You can flip their hair around, rake it with your fingers, use a round brush or a flat brush. Um, you may want to flat iron the ends just a little if it's necessary, but in most cases, we just air dry with a blow dryer and the guest goes nuts. They're so excited when they see that finished result because this is somebody who would never just blow dry their hair and shake their head and go out into the world. And then apply Bricado Active's restorative infusion at that step. Now, I want to pause here for just a second and talk about situations where I would rinse and situations where I would not. Here's an example of a model who we chose option 2. Her before, she's a type 1 with fairly fine hair with some curl. After the entire service, she was rinsed, and you can see how flat her hair is. And then the final picture on the right, we styled her hair, blew her hair out, and gave her a finished style to go home with. Here's our recommendation. The very first couple of times you use Supersilk, plan on option 2. Rinse that client thoroughly in the salon so you can see the result and see that the smoothing and the straightening has actually taken place. As time goes by, you'll get a feel for the hair texture and the hair type and the hair condition that option 1 will work with, and you'll get a feel for the hair type, hair texture, and condition that option 2 is the best choice. Let me give you just a couple suggestions. If the hair is extremely porous, if the hair is color treated with highlights or bleach, or the hair is extremely dry in texture before you begin the Super Silk service, you're going to want to use option 2 and rinse thoroughly before you go home. You'll find that on hair that is especially full head bleach, you'll find that there is texture left behind in the hair after flat ironing that's not necessarily luxurious and not exactly what she may want to go home with. But as soon as you've rinsed it, it's super sleek and super slip and super shiny, and she'll love the results that she receives. So make sure that you allow a little bit of time for that option on guests who it appears that they're probably a better option 2 than option 1 guest. So what are my results going to be? Well, after a Super Silk service, someone with type hair 1, their hair will be smooth, straight, sleek, and frizz-free. This is after it's rinsed. Type 2 hair, their hair will be smooth and straighter, but it will also be sleek and frizz-free. Type 2, they'll lose 80 to 90% of the curl. Type 3, their hair will be wavy to curly, but there will be a complete frizz reduction. The type 3 client generally gets very excited when they talk about what their hair is like when they style it. They love the way it feels. They love running their fingers through it. They love how much time it saves them, but they are still curly when they're done. If you're interested in taking a type 3 client after one service, their hair is still curly. If you'd like them to be even more smooth and have less curl, then you could do a second Super Silk service in a couple of weeks. And over time, it would get sleeker and straighter, but the stick straight curl on type 3 hair is not really a reality. So let's look at the results. The before result, her hair was multitonal. You can see the ends were a little bit dry. The after result, after step 10, the hair was dried and flat ironed, and with just a little bit of active, she had sleek straight hair. When she shampoos her hair the first time at home in a couple of days, her hair will be just as sleek and just as straight. So what are the results that we're going to have with Super Silk? First thing, the hair will gradually return to its natural texture over 8 to 12 weeks after one service. Again, if you want a stronger smoothing result, you can do multiple services every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks, and it will become more and more durable and last longer. Continued use of Bricado Super Silk makes the hair even smoother, stronger, and silkier, as I said. The hair can be colored the same day as Bricado Super Silk service with Bricado Color Project. When we get to question and answers, we'll talk about coloring the hair a little bit more. The styling options that last for weeks. The hair can be air dried for soft, natural texture. It can be blow dried for waves and body. They can curl their hair to create any shape they choose, or they can flat iron it for a sleek, straight look. Now remember, with Super Silk, they can curl their hair the next day. They can flat iron their hair the next day. They can shampoo their hair within 24 hours. They can pull their hair back in a ponytail or use a bobby pin and not worry about imprinting or bending the hair in any way. They can style the hair any way they choose from the very first moment of the service. We have two products that are designed as take home to help support the guest in their Super Silk service: Super Silk Pure Indulgence Shampoo and Super Silk Pure Indulgence Leave-In Treatment. Both are designed to increase the result or extend the result of the professional service. They're fantastic conditioning, nourishing formulas that use silk amino acids and the nano silk complex to add shine and add strength and add body to the hair. Um, Along with enhancing oils, the Super Silk Pure Indulgence Leave-In Treatment is a leave-in product that continues to feed and nourish and treat the hair. They've both been home runs. We've had them out now in the market for about 6 months, and they're really creating a great following. Be sure to make sure these are available to your guests. For more information on Super Silk, we encourage you to join us on YouTube. We have a Super Silk YouTube channel that has before and after pictures, client testimonials, and technical videos. Also, we ask you to join the conversation on the Mercado Super Silk Facebook page. Rarely a day goes by without somebody talking about Super Silk or someone posting a picture. Usually the stylist posts the before and after of the Super Silk service that they had just performed. Remember, everything that we do with Super Silk has to be is contained in this one chart. Make sure that you analyze the hair type, use the correct penetrating and processing time, set your iron correctly, and also set up your guest to understand what they can expect from the service. And the After Super Silk page really helps them understand, here's what you can expect the result to be, how it can save you time, how it can save you energy, and how it can save you money in the long term. Now, for you as a stylist or a salon owner, we really want to take a little pause and remember that we're in business, and Super Silk is a great part of the business that we can create in the salon. Our suggested service price for Super Silk is $175 and up. There are salons across the country charging $200, $300, $400, $450 for a Super Silk service. A typical service will take between 2 hours and 2.5 hours to perform. We've had a little bit of a race going on, and we've got it down to 90 minutes. One person said, oh, well, I did it in 55 minutes. So if you hurry and you have short hair, I guess you could do it quicker. $179 professional kit of Super Silk would get you $1,050 to $1,400 or more in service revenue for your salon. And then with each one of these services, there's the opportunity for $44 in retail with the Pure Indulgence products. Many salons, and our suggestion is, if you're charging more than $200 for your service with Super Silk, be sure to include Pure Indulgence shampoo and treatment in the service. There are promotions available with your distributor that can help you get savings on those products so that you can include them with that first service, and then they can come back and purchase them as time goes by. Now, for one stylist, you have 25 Super Silk clients. That's going to create $17,500 or more in service revenue a year. 25 Super Silk clients are also going to purchase $13,200 in retail products per year. So 25 Super Silk clients can increase your revenue by $30,700 per stylist. I truly believe that every single stylist can find 25 clients that need Super Silk, probably many, many more. Now, if you're a salon owner, this really changes the way the game is played in your salon, because a 5-chair salon with 125 Super Silk clients will generate additional sales of $153,000 a year. That will make a difference on the bottom line of your business and allow you to create opportunities for further education, for developing your staff, for remodeling, for doing all kinds of things that you dream about doing with your business just with one new service that you introduce on a regular basis to new clients. Now, we've got a bunch of questions that were posted as responses to the webinar. So I want to go through each question and answer it and give you my best suggestions so that you can come back and then we'll have some discussion after the fact and pick up any other questions. The first question is, what is the correct way to detangle? Well, after you shampoo the hair with detoxify shampoo, if the hair is tangly, you can spray it lightly with Super Silk solution. Supersilk solution is acidic and it will help smooth the cuticle, and then you can comb with a wide tooth comb or a detangling comb and proceed from there. While you're blow drying, if you're having challenges with tangling, make sure you're using downward motion with the blow dryer and using your fingers to separate and to detangle the hair. We're trying really hard not to use another tool there, but you can keep the hair pretty smooth and pretty controlled just with your fingers. Is Supersilk free of formaldehyde and formaldehyde donors? I can truly tell you, and Sam would put his hand on a Bible, there is no formaldehyde or disguised formaldehyde in Supersilk. Supersilk contains no fragrance or preservative. Those two things are common sources of formaldehyde in many products, because what happens is when you apply the heat of a flat iron to a fragrance or a preservative, many times they will give off formaldehyde and enable a formaldehyde-based system to perform. We have reports from an independent lab that prove the statements that I've made above, and I will send those reports via email to you as we tie up the webinar. As you know, if you've been with our webinars before, we always follow up with an email, and I will send that lab report with the email so you can see it and have it. And I know you may have clients in the salon that are asking these questions, so you can share that copy and share it with them. How safe is Supersilk to use? Supersilk is not a chemical service. It doesn't change the structure of the hair. Sericin is the primary silk protein in Supersilk, and it has natural adhesive qualities that bond with the hair when it's heated. That's how simple the product itself is. Now, if you use an iron that is too hot, if you are not careful in detangling, there's certainly ways that damage can be created. But the damage that's caused by Supersilk on the hair fiber is usually mechanical. It's a result of the flat iron or the result of brushing or the result of not being careful with the hair fiber. The product itself contains no invasive chemicals of any kind. It's silk protein and, uh, and a carrier for the protein. Can Supersilk be used on damaged hair? Supersilk can be used on any hair type and any hair condition at any time. Now, remember, extremely porous hair can tangle, but this is a result of the acidity of the Supersilk solution. When you apply the Supersilk solution, sometimes you will feel tangle in the hair or you will feel a texture to the hair. That's excess solution on the surface of the hair. After the surface is completed, it will be completely silky and completely smooth on any hair type. How much Supersilk solution is needed? You cannot overuse Supersilk solution, but you can waste it. It's not a matter of too much solution causing an adverse effect, but we don't want to use more than you need to, because most of all, we're salon owners and we want to be able to make a good living as a result of our investments. When you spray super solution, it should be absorbed into the hair and not be dripping. You'll see the hair and feel in your hands the hair shrink. You'll feel the texture change. The hair should comb easily and the hair should be moist, but it doesn't need to be dripping. It doesn't need to be wet. One of the things I've watched Sam do when he applies Supersilk is he'll comb the hair and then comb the hair from side to side and comb the hair from the bottom up. And that's all about distributing the solution and making sure the solution is thoroughly wrapped around and absorbing into the fiber of the hair. Why is the hair sticky during the blow dry? The hair sometimes can be sticky or have texture while you're blow drying the hair as a result of excess solution. Usually a solution on the surface of the hair that was not allowed to absorb into the hair because the hair just doesn't have room for any more solution. To help cure this, try using a little less solution next time. The hair doesn't have to be soaking wet with Supersilk solution. It just needs to be moist. What are the active ingredients in Supersilk? Sericin protein is derived from silk fiber. It's the ingredient that provides the smooth, silky result. If you Google Sericin, you can find electron microscope pictures of silk fiber. And what Sericin is it's the protein that wraps around the outside of the silk fiber. Sericin is sustainable. It's naturally acidic. It has natural adhesive qualities that hold the hair smooth and decrease the hair's frizz. Because the actual formula that you're using is acidic, it has a pH of 3.5. There's no need for extra preservative chemicals added to it. So it's really a very pure. Someone asked me once if it was organic, and I wasn't willing to go that far. Um, but we talked about what organic is. It's a very pure and very safe formula. Are Super Silk results permanent? Super Silk solution bonded with the hair will typically wear off in 8 to 12 weeks. We recommend that you avoid salt water in the ocean or in saltwater pools because avoiding salt water will help extend the life of the service. Pure indulgent shampoo and leave-in treatment also restore the nanosilk complex to the hair, infusing the hair with protein, helping the hair to be stronger, helping the hair to bring on bulk. And that will help guarantee the best possible results. We're not making a permanent change to the structure of the hair. Super Silk is not chemically restructuring or changing the hair. It's just the action of bonding the silk solution, bonding the protein to the hair that helps hold the hair smooth, restores protein to the hair, and does away with the frizz. How important is blow drying? Can the guest be placed under a hood dryer? Absolutely. The key to drying Super Silk solution in the hair is about removing moisture. You're not drying a style into the hair. You're not using direction. You're not trying to make the hair smooth with the drying action. A hood dryer is a great option. It's important to avoid using a brush. We talked about that. The brush actually removes the super silk from the hair while you're drying. One of the recommendations I would have is on hair that is really damaged and dry, or hair that is bleached, hair that's fragile that you want to be as careful with as possible. A hood dryer could probably be the best choice. It would help you avoid tangles in the hair. It would remove the moisture from the hair without excess manipulation and moving the hair around. And I know we've all seen fragile hair, especially hair that's been over bleached, and you just don't want to be playing around with it more than necessary. And so the hood dryer would be a great option in that situation. Why does color sometimes fade during the super silk treatment? We've looked at this a lot and we've tried to figure it out. One of the reasons it's taken us a while to figure it out is because it's not terribly predictable. I just completed a model a few weeks ago in New Hampshire, and she had had her hair colored the day before with a bright red hair color. And as soon as I met the model, I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, oh, here we go. And yet I applied Super Silk just as we would normally. I flat ironed as I would normally, and there was no color shift or change at all on someone with a bright level 5 red with vibrant violet highlights and gold highlights. It came out perfectly. Sometimes the color that can be seen leaving the hair, you can see color leaving as the Super Silk solution penetrates. You might see this on the processing cap or see it drips of color. We believe this is a result of the low pH of the formula as it squeezes and compacts the hair. Color that's attached to the surface of the hair, usually demi or semi-color or temporary formulas, can be pushed out of the fiber. There's nothing in a super silk solution that is actually oxidizing or lifting or lightening the hair chemically. It's a physical action that is pushing color out of the hair. A secondary problem or a secondary situation is when you have heat from a flat iron. Heat from the flat iron can cause lifting or lightening if there's any type of oxidation residue left behind in the hair. This isn't connected to the super silk solution, but it's independent of it. So if the client has excess peroxide in the hair after a color service, if the color is not completely stable, it's very possible that heat will activate free, free radicals of oxygen and cause a little bit of lightening. Now, healthy hair that has been color treated will usually hold on to the hair better than hair that is compromised. So if the hair is healthy and has a lot of structure to it, the chances are it will hang on to the hair color better. If you believe fadage is a possibility, be ready with a demi-color formula to apply immediately after the service. Immediately after the Super Silk service is flat ironed and rinsed, you can apply demi-color to restore the tonality that may have faded a little during the treatment. Why are there fumes and steam when I'm flat ironing? Occasionally there are fumes when you flat iron the hair in any situation. Sometimes there are residues or things left behind in the hair and you hit the hair with a warm flat iron and you will start to smell that. Be sure that the temperature of the flat iron is low enough that the hair is not being damaged. There's a difference between the steam and the normal fumes that you have while flat ironing and actually breaking and damaging the hair. Smoke or fumes are more often noticed when the hair is not 100% dry. If the hair is not completely dry before you flat iron, the hair will steam as you finish the flat iron, and the super silk solution will be evaporated, and you'll smell that. Hair naturally contains moisture. This is what holds it in place when you curl with a hot tool or when you flat iron. Steam will always be created when you're flat ironing. Any odor noticed comes from the products in the hair, whether they're styling products, conditioning products, or super silk solution. But we know from our lab testing there's no formaldehyde. There's no damaging ingredients, so there should be no health risks and no health issues. And again, if you've done previous systems or other systems, you may have felt a tickle in your throat or a burning in your eyes. You will not experience that when you're working with Supersilk. What makes the hair difficult to comb after blow drying and throughout the flat ironing process? As I've said before, hair that's extremely porous, bleached, damaged, or heavily highlighted, hair that's dry, can sometimes be difficult to comb because super silk does not contain silicones or lubricants that are usually found in a conditioner. The detangling action with super silk comes from smoothing the cuticle because of the low pH formula, but it doesn't put slip into the hair. It's easy to over-apply super silk solution in these situations because the hair seems to be absorbing more and more and more solution. And so as you get more and more solution on, many times you'll have super silk solution all over the outside of the hair. And super silk solution interacting with super silk solution as you dry it is rough and is a little tangly. If you'd like, you can pre-treat the hair with Cloud9 treatment or curl interrupted treatment, and that really does help. Pre-treating takes place after using detoxify shampoo and before applying super silk solution. Apply the treatment of your choice and leave it in the hair for 5 minutes. Then rinse it well, then towel blot the hair and proceed with the super silk application. This will help you during the drying and flat ironing process because it helps keep the hair a little bit more moist, a little bit more flexible, and a little bit better structure as you apply the super silk. And you'll still have the same amount of durability when you're finished and when you're completed with the service. Is it okay to color and use super silk on the same day? Yes, you bet it is. Many salons have been very successful doing both services in one day. The recommendation is to work from the highest pH to the lowest pH. Use a lightener, color, and then super silk would be the preferred order. As I discovered and as I've learned doing super silk and color together, completely processing the permanent color, rinsing extremely well, and deep conditioning with vibrocolor conditioning and treatment before super silk will decrease the possibility of color fadage. If you've been to color classes or color workshops with us, you'll know that we teach you to skip the shampoo step while you're doing color and go directly to deep conditioning. Rinse, 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 and then apply conditioner or treatment. Now, the reason I'm using both vibrocolor conditioner and treatment is because the conditioner is full of halogenol, sunflower seed extracts that will neutralize any unwanted oxidants in the hair. It will cut the oxidation. And when I apply heat on top of hair that still has oxidants in it, it will get lift. The treatment will add moisture and nourish the hair to help decrease the fadage as well. Now, at this point, I would then shampoo the hair with the detoxify shampoo. Don't skip that step, and then proceed with the super silk service. Always, as I said, where color is concerned, be prepared with a demi-color formula if necessary. Many, many times you'll discover that it is not necessary. Occasionally it will be. Also remember that a demi-color formula, a semi-color formula, or temporary color is obviously more susceptible to fading during a super silk service because they're on the surface of the hair where the super silk solution is active, and they aren't designed to permanently connect or permanently attach to the structure of the hair the way permanent color molecules are. I also noted process the permanent color completely because it needs to completely oxidize and completely become part of the hair structure, and you'll have less fadage in that case. Some guests are sensitive to super silk solution and can feel it on their scalp. Is that normal? Super silk solution, as we've said, is acidic. After natural moisturizers are removed from the scalp with detoxify shampoo, it is possible that the guest can feel the acidic action on their hair. Usually it feels like a tightening or a constricting, and usually it'll go away within just a couple of minutes. You might feel the same thing on your hands as you're applying Super Silk. If you're doing a Super Silk service the same day as a permanent color service, the sensation may be increased. It's increased because the permanent color is exposing the scalp to a pH of 9 or above, and the Super Silk is actually normalizing the scalp by bringing back the acid mantle and the acid balance to the scalp. So they may feel a sensation when that happens. We have never seen a sensitivity reaction of rashing or burning or sensitivity to that you may have to other chemicals. It's not a chemical sensation. It's just the sensation of that you might feel with a toner if you were putting a toner on after a moisturizer for your skincare. We have two methods and two ways of certifying stylists for Super Silk. One way is to attend a hands-on Super Silk certification conducted at one of our distributors. Just got a note from the distributor in New Hampshire that they had a very successful event and had 18 people attend, and all 18 of them purchased Super Silk. So that's awesome to see. This event is about 3.5 hours, and it's a hands-on certification. We take you through the process, and then you each bring a model and do the model. There's also an alternative way of Super Silk certification through Facebook. This has just been activated in the last week, and so I'd invite you, if you're interested in certification, to check out our Facebook page for Bricado. All you need to do is prove that you've been certified by any other formaldehyde-based smoothing system, and you can be express certified by Bricado. All you do is go to the Bricado Facebook page, and right at the top of the page, select the Super Silk Certification tab, and it has all the instructions that you need in order to achieve your certification. One of the things that you need to do is you need to view some of the Super Silk videos, you'll need to read the instructions, and you'll need to make a purchase of Super Silk and let us know about that. Here's the certificate that we send to those who are certified in classes, and those who are certified in an express certification online will all receive the same certificate. We do want you to know that we're always available to help you and to answer your questions. I spent some time on the phone yesterday helping a salon with Super Silk, and it's not a problem for you to reach out to us. Call our technical hotline. It's 612-BRICADO or 612-276-2286. If you do not receive a live person as a result of your call, if it isn't answered live, when it's time to leave your voicemail message, please make sure that you leave your phone number as part of your voicemail message so that we can get back to you. We do want to get back to you, but caller ID does not always work in the hotline system, so please make sure you leave your phone number in your message. Thank you for your time today and for the questions that you sent in. It was great to be able to walk through each of those questions and answer those. That concludes the formal presentation for today. Sam, do you have any other comments or any words that you'd like to share?
Only that in the years since we first started testing and using Super Silk in my salon, that the competency level of the people has just grown and grown and grown. Super Silk, although it's not as complicated as hair color, it is something that is nuanced. And as you learn the nuances of it and you're patient and you look for the good things in it, which there are lots to be found, you'll really find that you can do some exciting things with the product, um, and really build quite a business as what I like to call a texturist, a person who specializes in the retexturization of hair. But otherwise, Gary, I just think it's a very comprehensive webinar, and for each and every one of you out there, look at your current service offerings and decide where you want to put your attention that you can get the most pleasure personally, and you can get the people that come in to go out and tell more people to come to you, and zero in on the things you're going to specialize in. If you're going to do Super Silk, really learn it inside and out so you can speak the silk language. Beyond that, build a great business. Love the work you do, I'm sure you do, and just have a great career. What a fabulous business we're in. It's just been nice being a part of this call today, and I wish you all the very best. Thanks, Gary. Bye.